Good afternoon and welcome to Love and Relationship. My name is Ndun Indun. I will be sharing with you some wisdom keys about love and relationship. Stay tuned. Good afternoon. Welcome to Love and Relationship. It's a beautiful day today. And today we have a very important personality in our radio station today. And we'll be discussing an exciting topic today. Today we have a Nollywood actor based in Johannesburg. He's a creative director, producer, a gospel musician, and also a marketplace minister. We have Ugo Tivu James. Please, you're welcome to be with us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. How do I pronounce your name? Is it
Ndun?
Ndon?
Yes, Ndun. It's
Ndon. Right. Ndon. All right. It sounds like you were done.
You can call it Don. I mean, it's still okay.
Nice. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor to have you.
Yeah.
Today we will be discussing about how to overcome bad relationship.
Yeah.
You know, we see that in our society, people are struggling between how to know which one is a good relationship, which one is a bad relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, so we want to see if we can give, the people some insight into this thing. But now, before we start, I wanted to ask you, are you married? Just
yes.
for the audience to know, okay.
I'm married.
So we're talking to a married man here.
Yes, I'm married. Yeah, I'm married to a beautiful wife of mine, Namakau.
Wow.
She's at work right now. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. A lot of people think actors and actresses maybe, may not be full into family, but it's good to hear we have one family man here.
What you must know is this. Remember, also, there are different type of actors and actresses, and some people are chosen by God.
Okay.
And I fall into that position where, especially when you are being groomed under a father, Pastor Chukso Zabo, you will know that you ought to live right, you ought to stand right, you ought to be an ambassador of Christ.
That's interesting. I'm happy to hear that. Very, very delighted to hear that.
Yeah.
And, sometimes this is a show, Love and Relationship.
Yeah.
We always like to know a little bit about how people found love, because some people always think it's very difficult to get to find the right person.
Yeah.
So maybe if you could briefly tell us, how did you find love?
To be honest to you, you see, when it comes to this love find, I think people are actually missing it. You see, you will have to be in tune with God for you to find the right love. And you ought to have a deeper or some kind of connection with love of God. Then it will be downloaded or forwarded to your spirit for you to locate your kind of love. If not, you're going to struggle. You can't get love out of flesh. It's not going to be possible.
Wow. I'm so delighted to hear it from you, because if we were preaching it as pastors, they would say, no, that's a pastoral way of talking.
No, it's not about pastoral. People need to start taking life seriously. Life is spiritual, and life gives to you what you demand from it. And you cannot always live out of your flesh. Especially when I say flesh, for those of you that don't understand, out of your mind, or what your body wants, or what you think you deserve in terms of human side.
Yes.
But if you approach it on the spiritual side, where every step, everything you do, it's actually spiritually inclined.
Yes.
And you will begin to get answer towards what you are looking for in terms of love, especially in the area of love, especially nowadays of our time.
So that's like sowing the right seed to get the right harvest.
Yes. So for instance, if you say you want love, you got to be a person of love. You got to be nice to people.
That's true.
Everywhere you go, you got to be nice. You got to smile. You got to say hello. You cannot carry a stiffness and think you will attract love. Love is a light attract light. Love attract love. And again, when you attract love, you ought to be able to carry it. When I say carry it, you ought to be able to know that that you carry it as well. So it's when it comes to you, you will be able to handle what it takes. Love requires sacrifice. It requires enduring. It's longevity. It's enduring. It has no pride. It's service. It's everything that you can look for. Then it feeds you back the rightful things that you deserve. You will enjoy it. It's a beautiful thing. When you do all those things and more, you will know that love is beautiful. It's like sweet, unending honey of Christ. Love.
True.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Trust me.
That's true.
But if you don't get it right, you will have the bitter pill of it.
No, that's true. I believe you 100%. I mean, having been married for about over 13 years now, I really understand what love really is.
And don't get me wrong, okay? I didn't get to where I was overnight, okay?
Yes.
At first, you see, you may depend on how you're raised, on how your background is, and especially, more importantly, who are you listening to?
Yes.
What books are you reading? And who is mentoring your thought processes in terms of what you hear and what you apply in your life to give you a certain kind of result? Because what you hear the most, and you put it in your mouth and you confess it, or you become a doer of what you hear, will give you specific kinds of result. So this is where I'm saying that it takes grooming and bringing up and rightful things that you do to mold you in a certain direction in order to produce certain result.
That's very interesting. And you see, like what we're discussing today, I can connect with what you're saying, that it also will help if someone can be positioned properly.
I
mean, in the right place. Because when we talk about bad relationship, you cannot
foundation is wrong.
Yes, you cannot be positioned at the wrong place with the wrong people, with the wrong relationship, and expect to have what a good relationship offers.
Of course.
So, but in a nutshell, what will you consider as a bad relationship?
Well, it depends. It varies, but I'll take a typical. I take one direction.
Okay.
Where for me, if I want to say bad relationship, actually, it's more like how has the other person handled that thing that you wanted to give to them as love.
Okay.
How did they treat it? How was it perceived?
Okay.
How was it approached?
Okay.
How was it dealt with?
Okay.
Those are the things I would say about relationship. So, but it varies in different kind of people, depending on who they are, where they're coming from, whether it's a woman or a man. But if you have experienced bad relationship, now you look at it from a different angle. Is it abuse? Is it in physical abuse? Is it spiritual abuse? Is it flesh abuse, or in different forms? Then you will begin to, it's like a doctor, you need to know exactly what
happened,
the person is suffering from. So if you're asking me, I wouldn't give a general view or understanding to the person unless I hear from the person. But I would say you always ought to know what exactly you're getting into, number one. That's the number one fundamental in the area. So you need to understand so that when it's coming, you are ready for it. Unless you do not know what you are getting into. So I would say it varies. It varies. So you can't give a concrete answer on what exactly bad relationship will be.
Okay. So your first answer was something like it depends on what you get out of what you give. I mean, like if you're into a relationship, you give love. What did you get out of it?
What did you get out of it?
That makes it a bad relationship.
And it doesn't really necessarily mean that, some people give love and they get bad in return. But look, all these things, they work it out for good to them who knows their God. All those things, God will use it to train you and make you a better person. And doesn't mean you will never love again. It now makes you a better person. It opens your eyes, it opens your ear, it prepares you for a better one. It gets you ready, it puts you in the right place. So
as long as your own heart is right.
Yeah, as long as your heart is right.
Doing what is right. Audience, I'm having a heat wave here. It's wonderful. It's exciting here. But we will go on a short break and we will return shortly.
brandlive.co.za listening to brandlive.co.za.
Welcome back. We are still here in the studio with our wonderful guest, Ugotivu James. It's been exciting. It's been wonderful. And we're talking about how to overcome bad relationship. I believe that he must have overcome bad relationship to be in a good one. I mean, sometimes, the process of getting to the right person,
of course,
you have to go through some hiccups.
We as human beings, you must go through those journeys. You will pass through meeting different people at different time, at different season, at different age of your life, and then at certain age you begin to get a different kind of understanding. You begin to get a different kind of wisdom at certain time and a particular time, but also at a particular time written for you from heaven will also solidify a lot of things that you actually get aboard. But you see, quite a number of thing that I always check with people is that make sure that whatever you say you want to do, especially marriage or relationship, make sure that you're actually ready for it. And what am I trying to say ready for it? That you know exactly what you're doing. You see, what is the intention behind it? For instance, you cannot be living with your boyfriend and you stay in the same flat and you live together and the next thing you're pregnant, and what do you expect? Do you think plasma TV will jump out of you guys still staying together? And you're pregnant, then he moves on and he's doing all kind of things, and you are heartbroken, and you're wondering what went wrong. It's you. You did not put your priorities right. You see, you ought to let him do the needful. He needs to take you seriously. He needs to go introduce you to your parents. He needs to pay your dowries. You need to make sure that he put the rings on it, and then you can now accord to him certain kind of services where you move in together, you stay together. But when he hasn't done those things, what do you expect to happen? And after you've explored, and then he moves on to another person, and then you are heartbroken. He leaves you in one corner, and then you are crying. It's because you yourself, when you were there, you did not place you didn't put your priorities right. It's always good to always put your priorities right. You see, fun will always diminish, flesh will always diminish. What sets in reality, and when reality sets in, what next? So reality always sets in people's mind at different times. Maybe that man might be carried away. Maybe he puts his eyes on your hips, and he's telling you all the lies and trying to get you. The moment he gets what he wants from your hips, he's moving on to the next hips.
That's the thing.
So it's always good to know, especially women are more vulnerable in this area. That's why I'm using such kind of example. And it's always good. There are also men who are also goes through this kind of stuff. But it's always good to understand, what am I doing? Is it for long-term relationship? Is it for lifetime relationship? Is it for short-term relationship? And everything that is done out of flesh does not profit. You need to always get your priorities right in terms of your decisions in the area of relationship. Even normal relationship, even when you're having friends, your normal friends that you actually invite into your life. Who are they? What are they adding to your life? How have they influenced you? These are the areas. If they're not influencing you positively, why are you hanging around them? You hang around people who makes you smoke. You hang around people who makes you drink alcohol, and you know that alcohol is not good for you. Why are you staying around such people? Why can't you find people who will celebrate your talent, encourage you? People, I know this is where we get it wrong, but it's not something we appreciate today. It's something that at the time and a particular place we begin to administer different kind of medicine of teachings on this area, so that people will begin to understand how to actually place your priorities of your life properly.
Right. Thank you very much. I know you've even answered the other question I wanted to ask you. You see, you reminded me of a wisdom that I shared somewhere. I said that people who move in together and start doing the marital things before getting married are like people who start job before they get their employment later, before they get their contract later. So if you start you start working and you've not gotten your contract later, you're not your employer is not authorized to pay you. I mean, if he chooses not to pay you, you can't take him to court.
You know,
no
look,
contract, nothing.
And again, I think the thing is, some of the women are vulnerable to this area because sometimes they are. I don't know. Some people think they're running out of age, or some people think they're in the right age, or sometimes insecurity, or sometimes if want the men's covering. Some women can't live without men's covering, or can't live without men in their life. So. They forget that they are being vulnerable, and they begin to give. They try to please the man, so they think by giving him what he wants from them, that he will stay, they will keep him. Or sometimes some people actually think as much as going to have a baby for him, thinking that they will tie him like that or keep him like that. You know, all these things are done out of flesh. Trust me, you will crash. You know, sometimes you will crash. Most times you crash because it's not properly positioned in the right priorities of how, on which way, or how do I do this thing and get the kind of result that I want. So what am I trying to say in the sense that women are much vulnerable? I will say, look, I know we're created in a nature of men. I know, but look, that nature can also be dealt with.
Yes, you see, we have self-control. We can work it out.
Be dealt with. A lot of people say, "I'm a man. I can have more. I can do this one." I understand you. But look, if you want to get certain things right and live rightful and avoid issues of life, bombarding your life, bombarding your in the areas of you think you want to grow, then you need to ought to do things rightly.
That's true.
For instance, the women ought to close their legs. For instance, close it for some time until he pays your bride price, until you introduce him to your parents, until you introduce him to your mentor or whoever that you look up to, that he says, okay, or raised you as a mother or as a child. You need to also follow the right process. Let people get who is the person, who is he listening to, who mentored him, where did he go, what is his dream in life, what is he pursuing. All these things matters. You need to check all these things through a guy. It doesn't matter whether he's driving a Lamborghini now or he's not driving, or he's driving a bicycle. What matters is him. What is he carrying in his spirit? Does he have the fear of God? Does he have the belief? Does he believe in himself? Does he know that he will make it? Nevertheless, that does he know that his condition is not permanent, that he's going to change? If you see such kind of people, then you begin to look into it, knowing that there is a way in here somewhere, somehow.
Thank you very much. You know, you've certainly agreed with the things we have been kind of preaching here, which has to do with character compatibility, which has to do with focusing on the right character for marriage. Because, you know, every other thing will fade away. But, you know, like you've said, character hardly fades away. Character has been formed over many years. You find somebody, you know, some people say this person has changed. The truth is that the person has not changed. The person has been like that, but he hid his real character from you.
To be truthful to you, most people don't change, they adjust, especially when it comes to marriage.
Yes, but most thing has been there.
Yeah, it's been there. They adjust. And it's just a matter of time. It will jump out, it will show off. You know, all the hidden lies and hidden personality will show. You see, you cannot hide in marriage. You can't.
No, you can't.
You can't. No matter what even if you're the most pretender in this world, one day your true self will showcase himself.
Okay, but can we highlight a little bit what a good loving relationship would be? I mean, how to come into a good relationship. I see you've touched a little bit on those things. Fear of God, character, you know, believing in self and all that. I don't know if you have something else to, you know, speak about.
I believe a good loving is actually it's about feedback. Like I said, if you want love, you got to give love.
That's true.
And if you, let's say for those who have spouse, are living with their spouse now and want to grow their love with their spouse, sometimes I know sometimes we men will face challenges with, especially when we are career people or entrepreneurs. We are busy with how to conquer the world and how to take this territory, how to build this business, how to take, you know, sometimes this thing bombards our heart and we neglect the women that God has placed in our life. And sometimes you ought to love your wife by faith.
That's true.
There are times where you don't have that zeal, that fire for her like when you started. But I will say to you as a man, always love your wife by faith, because that is where it will ignite again. That is where all the fire that was there in the beginning will begin to come alive. And then you will be able to carry on. But if you don't love your wife by faith, you will think
that's true.
that you don't have.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. You see, another important thing is that a lot of people confuse what love really is.
Yes.
You see, when we talk about, giving love, it's like when a man gives a woman some money, change her wardrobe and all that. The woman might think the man is loving her.
It's not about money.
Yes.
Those things are
physical
they're
things.
byproduct. It's like somebody saying you're blessed, you're good. Those are byproduct. I'm just saying good things to you.
Yes,
I'm just saying good things to you.
Yes.
You are favored in Jesus' name. It's not prophecy. Okay, I'm just saying good things to you. They are byproduct. The real thing is practical. You have to learn to practicalize your love life. You got to wake up in the morning and try, sometimes phone your wife.
Yes.
Even I work today, phone her, how you doing? Or even speak a word of life over.
Yes.
How you doing? I hope you're doing well at work. I bless your day.
Intentionally.
I speak over you.
Yes.
You are triumphant at work. You are doing well. You will not fail. Your everything you touch will prosper.
Yes.
So those are practicalized way of getting love. Your wife also will call on you and check up on you. How's your day? Because sometimes life living day to day can be very challenging.
Very challenging.
Sometimes you can even have bad argument with somebody that will take away your joy. But knowing that you hear from one person, that when you hear that voice, your day comes back again. You're not ugly. You're not ugly to it. Because when you have a bad day, you can go home and try and give it to your wife. Some people, that's why some people are very ugly towards their wife. They go home because they don't know how to absorb it and keep it down. So it's if we talk about this whole thing, we'll talk if till thy kingdom come. But we can just pick one area one area to constantly monitor yourself to see that you are giving love in return, and not just in your house, in your workplace. It doesn't matter what people do to you. In fact, whatever they do to you, it's all a blessing. It's all better. It makes you a better person. But you ought to always give love, irrespective of how our life has presented to you, irrespective of how ugly people have treated you. Always try as much as you can to give love, because you're not giving them, you're giving it through Christ. Jesus Christ, because he's the only person that gives true love inside of you. So when true love lives inside of you, you will be able to give true love. You'll be able to forgive. You won't have grudges. If you have argument with your wife, it ends there. It doesn't have to overlap the next day, 2 days, 3 days. These are the things that leads to divorce. Pride sets in. So many things. If you're wrong, say sorry. If you're not wrong, find a way to also say sorry. It does not remove anything from who you are. It just makes you a better person. Trust me, any real person who hears you and you see you do these things will know that, no, I ought to start living right. And they will correct themselves and be in equal yoke with you in terms of what you give them in return.
Wow.
Unless they are wicked.
Wow. Thank you so much. I mean, because of time, we will be wrapping up here. But we've heard, practically step by step, and you've even given the advice about how people should live. I believe, like we've said today, in summary, it's about consciously planting love, consciously, intentionally showing love, care, and following it through. Yeah. Because what you sow is what you reap.
What you sow is what you reap.
You don't expect to reap what
you give love, you get love.
That is what we're saying
today.
You
sow strife, you get strife.
That's what we're saying.
You sow arrogant, you get arrogant. And they see all these things they will stress you. They will stress you. Okay.
Wow. Thank you so much. And the music that we played before during the break, sorry, I forgot to mention. That's a music by Ugo Tivu. And then I think the one we playing right now is still one of his music. And listeners, we're wrapping up there until next time, same time next week.
Yeah.
And follow us on Facebook, Living as One Event. And also, you can drop us a mail at livingasoneevent@gmail.com. So we hope to hook up again next week.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for being here. You've been a great blessing to us. And we hope to have you again sometime soon.
Thank you. I'm always there for you. Call me. Dial. You can ring my bell. I will be here.
Thank you so much.
Take care, everyone. God bless you.
God bless you all. Thanks.
forevermore. I love you, Lord. You give me love. You heal my mind. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh God.
This message was sponsored by friends and partners of Living as One events. You are invited to our singles and married couples event featuring seminars, talk shows, Q&A sessions, single mingles, couples games, and many more. You may visit our website for details of our events and register at www.livingasoneevents.com. You can also get our books on relationships titled Why Should I Get Married and Living as One. We also do counseling for couples and singles who want to make the right decisions regarding their relationships. For more info, please contact us on 078 255 4517 or email us at livingasoneevents@gmail.com. Please tune in again for another episode of Love and Relationship. God bless you.